What is going on, YouTube? Today we're going to be doing a little bit of a new player guide, telling new players what all this stuff is inside their van and how it works in gameplay. The tutorial, if you've ever done it, kind of takes you through a little bit of a walkthrough, showing you and giving you a little bit of a context as to what the equipment is, but it doesn't only show you very well about how to use it in gameplay. So that's what I want to do here today. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We're on a professional round, and we have all tier 1 gear, because this is probably the first gear you're going to be exposed to when you play Phasmophobia, unless you have friends that already play, they can give you tier 2 or tier 3 gear. So the map we're on for this round as well is Willow. So the first thing you're going to want to ask yourself is, what do you take inside? Typically, you're going to want to take at least a flashlight so you can see. If you have a head cam later on, tier 2, tier 3, you can take the head cam instead of the flashlight if you'd like to, but that's not going to be your reality at the beginning at least. So you could go ahead and take a flashlight. Now you're going to want to find at least 2 pieces of equipment to help you find the ghost room. And what those 2 pieces of equipment in is totally up to you. Some people take video camera to try to find ghost orbs early. Some people walk around with spirit box and try to see if they can get the ghost response in the room. Some people bring thermometer. Some people bring EMF. Some people go ahead and take a photo camera and start getting the photos automatically. I think ultimately what you take in first is going to be depending on if you're solo or if you're multiplayer. Because if you're multiplayer, people may already be taking the things in that you usually take. So you're going to pivot to something different. But for me, for my particular preference, I like to take EMF reader and I like to take thermometer. The reason for that is the fastest way to find a ghost room without using your ears and hearing an interaction or something getting thrown is to find cold temperatures. Let's go ahead and check this out in real time. Let's go ahead and get out of here and go inside the location. And if you guys did not know, Willow is my favorite map. It's great for solo gameplay, and it's fantastic for group gameplay as well. Has a lot of looping spots, has a lot of great hiding spots, and it's a perfect layout. So first things, when you go inside on professional, you're going to want to go get the breaker on, especially if it's snowing outside. If it's snowing outside on the map, everything inside the map is going to be colder temperatures. So we're going to go ahead and turn the breaker on so everything can kind of warm up. Thankfully, it's not snowing outside on this particular round, so we don't really have to worry about that. You can start getting some lights on as well. One thing you're going to notice about this tier 1 thermometer is it doesn't stay consistently on one temperature. Has a lot of fluctuations. So you're going to want to try to find a good median or a good average to where it's fluctuating. So for here right now, looks like this is probably 15 degrees. It's kind of going a little bit below 15. It's kind of going to the line of 15, so probably going to be 15, maybe 14 degrees in here. That's relatively warm, most things. What I'm looking for when I'm finding the ghost room is I'm looking for that red line to start plummeting downwards, probably towards 10. That's going to tell me that's the ghost room. Any drastic change in temperature when you walk into the room is going to be your ghost room. There's the bone right there. We're going to leave that for later. We'll explain what's going on with that in a little bit. Also, if you want to try to preserve your sanity, make sure you get the lights on. If you stay in well-lit areas, it's going to preserve your sanity much more than if you were in the darker areas of the house. So right here, we see like 15 degrees as well. And the reason I brought my EMF reader in is because if I ever hear anything get thrown or touched or interacted with and I'm not sure what it was, I can automatically turn this EMF reader on and try to figure out where that came from. So that way I have a general area of where the ghost may be. We got radio on it here. So you can see that the EMF reader is going up to a 2. It's going up to 2 and going a little bit beyond. Whatever number the EMF reader goes up to on this tier 1, it's got to go a little bit above that number to be that number. So if it's going to 2 and a little bit beyond, that's EMF 2. If it's going to 3 and a little bit above 3, that's EMF 3. And you're going to know for sure if it's EMF 5 because it's going to go all the way to the very right side and stay there a little bit. So we have a ghost inside of what it looks to be potentially the streamer bedroom. But again, we have to go ahead and use the thermometer to guarantee that the cold temperatures are in this room. So right now, the temperatures of this room do seem to be going downward. They're going downward consistently, down towards that 10 that I had spoken about before. So the ghost definitely does seem to be in here. So we're going to go ahead and throw that there. Go check the EMF reader on this light that I just interacted with. And if you guys did not know, if the ghost ever turns on a light switch, it cannot be a mirror. Mirrors cannot turn on light bulbs. Fun little fact there. Let's go ahead and leave our flashlight here. Let's go back to the van and go get some more equipment so we can go ahead and try to find more evidence. At the van now, you can pretty much take anything you want inside. My recommendation for what to take next would probably be book writing, because you can go ahead and put the book writing book inside the ghost room and just let it sit there to see if the ghost is going to interact with it. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Another thing you could possibly take in is some salt to see if the ghost is going to step through it. That would be able to rule out wraith. And if it steps through it, it might be able to leave UV footprints for ultraviolet evidence. Or you can go take in a video camera for a ghost orb. The choice can really be whatever you want it to be. There is no right and wrong here. It's whatever you're feeling. But the good thing is I left my flashlight in there, so I actually have 3 inventory slots right now instead of 2. because I left my flashlight behind. So I'm going to go ahead and take Spirit Box as well. I'm going to take Spirit Box in. So that's what I like to do when I'm on solo. I leave my flashlight inside and I kind of navigate my way back to the door without a light. That way I can carry 3 things back in instead of just 2. We're going to go back over to the room and we're going to go check for orbs first since I got this video camera in my hand. And I'm going to be very transparent with you. It's very hard to see ghost orbs in the very little screen that is this video camera. So it's much easier to put it down on the ground and go look for ghost orbs inside the van on the camera that is there. But you're more than welcome to go ahead and look through the video camera here to find ghost orbs. And I think I actually already see one there. I believe we do have a ghost orb. Yep, there it is. We got some movement on some orbicals, so we do have ghost orbs. You can just go ahead and set this up in a corner. I love to set it up in a corner of a room. That way it has a projection of way more area that it can go ahead and see in the room. So I'm going to leave that right there. The ghost has thrown the ball. So we can go ahead and check the EMF reader on that to see if we're going to get 5. We got EMF 3. By the way, if you get EMF reading on anything, that's going to be able to get you an interaction photo. So if I had a photo camera right now and I took a photo of that bone, as long as it's giving me the EMF reading, that is an interaction photo. What's up, ghost? It's right there. It's a child ghost. It's sitting inside of the little nightstand there. And the EMF 4 that we're getting right now means that we got a ghost event. So that was definitely with that. If you ever get an EMF 4, automatically means you had a ghost event. Let's go ahead and throw this down. We got the book in place. In order to get Spirit Box here, you have to have the lights off inside the room. You cannot have lights on in the ghost room and try to get Spirit Box at the same time. It will not work. Let's turn this off. We're going to go ahead and turn this on. And you can see here we have the red light on the left side there that says power. That means it's on. So I'm going to go ahead and hit my push and talk button. If you're on console, it's going to have a text prompt. And all you have to do is click it. So it's very simple. But since I'm on PC, I'm going to go ahead and talk to it. Where are you? So what's happening here is you can see when I'm hitting my push and talk button, we have that little white light lighting up. When I ask a question, it's going to go ahead and give me a red light on the right side if it was received as a real question. If it's not, it won't give me anything at all. And if it speaks back to me, I will hear the ghost respond. So how old are you? See, you have the red light there. It means it was a successfully accepted question, but it did not respond at that time. Where are you? How old are you? Are you angry? Are you scared? Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you young? Are you old? Are you nearby? Where are you? People always ask when they're on PC, what are the best questions to ask in the Spirit Box? You can really ask whatever you want and see if it works. Best thing to try to do is to ask where its whereabouts are, its behavior, its mood. Those will all usually be accepted questions. So we're going to go ahead and leave that here. What's my thermometer looking like? So on the thermometer right now, looks like we have roughly around 2 degrees Celsius right now. So the way that you know you have 0 degrees or freezing temperatures on this thermometer is if the red line goes below the 0. It has to go below the 0. But if you're on a digital thermometer, tier 2 or tier 3, all you need is anything below 1. That means 0.9 on a tier 2 or tier 3 thermometer will be confirmed freezing temperatures. Let's go back to the van and go get some more stuff. I believe all we have so far is ghost orbs. You always got to keep in mind, if you have ghost orbs and you're doing one of these rounds, it could be fake ghost orbs for the mimic, so always keep that in mind. And there you can see it right there. In the video camera, it's always the last camera you place is your video camera, and that shows us ghost orbs there towards the right side by that chair. We get a much bigger visualization of the camera we just placed down in the van. That's perfect. Let's go ahead and bring a dots projector in, and I gotta be honest, tier 1 dots projector is my least favorite piece of equipment in the game because it's just so poor at getting a lot of coverage of dots. We're going to bring this in. We're going to bring in some salt, and I'm going to bring in a UV light to go ahead and test for UV footprints when it walks in the salt. Now, let's go ahead and be mindful of our sanity here for a second, too. We're at 55% sanity. Almost all ghosts in the game can hunt at 50% sanity. Couple exceptions, like Shade, cannot hunt until much lower, but in some ghosts can even hunt even sooner. So I always recommend to people, if you're new to Phasmophobia, go ahead and keep your sanity above 50%. Maybe keep it around the 70 area. That way you know if it hunts early that you have an early hunter. Let's go ahead and take a sanity here. We'll just take 1 for right now. That'll probably bring us up to around maybe 65, 70. And we're going to go back inside. I can hear the ghost touching the keyboard inside of the room. And I want to go check to see if it has UV on that keyboard, because the ghost has an opportunity to leave UV fingerprints on the keyboard just like this. So we do have UV. That is done. You can go ahead and put some salt down. For the time being, until it gets nerfed, disturbed salt photos are the easiest way to fill up your journal in Phasmophobia. I'll show you why once we bring the photo cam in a little bit later on. Let's go ahead and set up our dots projector as well. What I like to do with this tier 1 dots projector is kind of keep it a little bit elevated, like so. So I'm going to go ahead and put it maybe on this little table right here. I'm going to have it projecting outward. And we're going to see dots just like that. The reason I do that is because when you have it off the table there, the reason I keep the dots off the ground is because when you have it elevated, you can really get the full spectrum of the entire dots. You're going to get that full circle of dots projection outward. But if you put it on the floor like so, you're going to notice that the dots are going to be clipping into the floor. So you're losing half your dots projection to the floor. And we just saw dots again. So personally, I like to get the full dots coverage, so I keep it off the floor so we don't lose any underneath the floor. So dots is our last piece of evidence. We do have a Banshee. Banshee is the ghost. And if you guys did not know, Banshee cannot change Ghost Room unless you go ahead and make a wish on the monkey paw to go ahead and let it to do so. So there's 2 ghosts in the game that can't change rooms, Banshee and Goryo. There's a couple pieces of equipment we still haven't gone over yet, so I want to be able to go ahead and do that as well. And to anybody new to the game who does not know what dots projectors are, essentially what's happening is it's sending out these green dots in a cone in front of it. If the ghost passes through the dots, it's going to block the light, allowing you to see a silhouette of the ghost moving left to right or right to left, some direction. That is dots projection. And then if you see that, you can go ahead and mark it off. There's one ghost that will not show dots when you're looking at dots like I am right now. You would only see the dots through the video camera. So if you had this video camera here, and you had it set up behind the dots, and you were looking through the feed to watch for dots projection, the one ghost that would only show it to you on the video camera would be Goryo. So remember, that is specific to the Goryo. It's something you need to keep aware of. One of the things I love to do with my UV lights here is if I think the ghost is going to touch the door at some point and I want to see if it's going to give UV, I look straight up in the air and I drop the UV, and it basically stands on the back end of it and it projects that UV light up. That means that if this ghost touches this door at any time, it's going to show me that there's UV right in the middle of that door. So it's nice to go ahead and see that without you needing to hold onto the UV light itself. A little trick there that I like to do. One of the things I'm going to pay attention to right now is going to be the tier 1 head cam. The tier 1 head cam is essentially a camera that's mounted on top of your character's head. And it's only really useful if you have a second player with you in the map. Because right now, if I go ahead and I turn this on, you just heard a little beep there. That means it's on. It's going to allow me to go ahead and see the camera that's on top of my head right now. But this is not useful to me as a solo player because I can't be in the van to look at my own camera on my head. So you need a second player to make this worthwhile. And yes, you will be able to see ghost orbs on this camera if you are in the van looking through it. So it's a little bit of a useful thing. And I know that some of the weekly challenges make you use this to find ghost orbs, but it's only good if you have a second player. Also, if you didn't know, you can go ahead and hang your items back up on the wall just by going ahead and hitting the placement button and holding it down. It'll show you the silhouette of the item and allow you to hang it right back up. No problem. Next up, we have the motion sensor, Parabolic, and we have a Crucifix. Let's go ahead and get in there and show you how to work. So the Parabolic microphone here is great for hearing ghost sounds, interaction sounds, hunting sounds, any kind of sounds in the game that you cannot hear yourself from far distance away. So right now, the ghost is setting off the alarm clock. I can hear it through the Parabolic. Turning off the Parabolic, I don't hear the alarm clock anymore. So this is able to pick that sound up from a much further distance away than you would be able to with your own ears as a character. So that's great for bigger maps. If you're on high school and you want to hear a phone ringing, or you're on maybe like Sunny Meadows, prison, anywhere, and you want to be able to hear a far interaction to find the ghost room easier, this is going to be your way to do it. I love the Parabolic. It's a slept-on object. People don't use it too frequently, but they definitely should. One of the things I will mention, though, is that the ghost was in the basement right now, and I wanted to turn on this Parabolic and hear a sound in the basement. Can't do it. Only Parabolic Tier 3 can go ahead and hear a sound that's on a floor below or a floor above you. So if you're on a bigger map and you want to go ahead and hear sounds from a floor above or a floor below, make sure you have Tier 3 because Tier 1 and Tier 2 cannot do it. It can only hear sounds on the same exact floor as you. That is the Parabolic microphone, and as you may know, there's a Parabolic microphone objective in the game that you have to complete, so that's how you're going to do it. In order to get a Parabolic microphone response for your objective, you have to go ahead and turn it on, point it towards the direction you know the ghost is, and may just kind of sit there and just wait for something to happen. It may take a little while, it may, but make sure you're pointing it in the right direction where you know the ghost actually is, because it's going to allow you to get that objective completed faster. Also, fun fact, Parabolic microphone can pick up a very unique response from the Banshee type ghost. It is called the Banshee Scream, and it's a loud feminine shriek that is almost unmistakable One of the things to note too is you can get the parabolic response during a ghost hunt if you're feeling risky, but you don't have to. You can get it outside of a hunt as well. I was just holding it on the ghost right there when it did an event, and it just happened to respond to me, so I now have parabolic response completed. Also, you may have noticed that my tripod got knocked over. The higher tier of tripod you have, the less likely it is to get knocked over by the ghost. But sadly, since we're using tier 1 right now, very high chance to get knocked over by the ghost. So all you gotta do, unfortunately, is go back in there, pick it back up, put it back in position, and you're back in business. Next up, we're gonna look here at the motion sensor. If you had a motion sensor objective, we don't this round, but if you do, one of my recommendations to you, honestly, is to go ahead and put it maybe in like a doorway. You would go ahead and maybe like put it right here. And the reason that we're gonna put it in that doorway is because you know the ghost is gonna come out of this room. So if it's gonna walk this doorway, it's gonna trip off this motion sensor no matter what. And that's one of the easiest ways to get your objective completed. If you're looking to test for something like a roaming ghost, a stalker ghost, phantom, wraith, banshee, you can go ahead and get far away from the ghost room and try to go ahead and put the motion sensor down and see if it randomly trips off the motion sensor. And if it does, you know you have a ghost that's willing to roam very far to get to your location. We do indeed have a Banshee this round, so the Banshee should try to roam towards me at some point here and trip off that motion sensor. And I am well far away from its room that most other ghost types would never track this far to try to find me. And there you have it. It just went ahead and roamed through that motion sensor, meaning the ghost is inside here with me right now. More than likely, it'll hang around here for a second or two. It's going to go back to its room. Which brings us to our next point to go ahead and protect you in these situations, the Crucifix. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to show you how to place down the Crucifix real quick. First and foremost, if you try to go ahead and place it down, you're going to hold your placement button, and I mean press it down and hold it. And you can see in the distance there, you can see that circular pattern that is glowing. That is your protection radius in a circle around the Crucifix. So if the ghost tries to spawn within that circular radius, it'll bite the Crucifix and it will not cause a hunt. Now, this can be bypassed if you're starting a cursed hunt with a cursed object. The only tier of Crucifix that can stop a cursed hunt from happening is tier 3. But you don't have to place the Crucifix down like that in order for it to properly work. You can simply throw it on the ground. It'll give you the same protection radius around that Crucifix just the same. Or you could hold it in your main hand like I am right now, and the ghost will not be able to spawn around me in that circular radius while I'm holding it in my active hand. If it's inside my inventory like right now, it's not going to protect me. In my main hand, it will. What I always recommend for people to do is to put your Crucifix down somewhere in a centralized area of the room. That way, if you're going to put it too close to the wall, you're going to lose a lot of that circle on the outside of the map there. It's not going to help protect you. If you put it in the center of the room, it's going to be mostly protecting you around the center of the room. Let's go back to the van and see what other equipment we have in there to show you. Ghost is very venty. Our sanity must be getting low. Even though I've been in well-lit areas and I've been in the light, I can't imagine we're doing too well. 41%, so we're going to go ahead and take another sanity pill, get ourselves back over 50, maybe even 2, probably 2 will probably do it. We're going to take 2 sanity pills there, and we're going to go ahead and we got to capture a photo of the ghost. We got to get a cleanse objective as well. So we got our photo camera here, just meant to go ahead and take photographs, so we'll go show you some of that as well. We got ourselves the smudge, and we have a lighter. I want to be very clear about this. The smudge and lighter is not going to work unless you have the smudge and lighter inside of your inventory at the same time. And the reason I'm calling this a smudge is because way back when in Phasmophobia, when I first started playing this game, it was called the smudge stick. Now it's called the incense stick. I can't get that old verbiage out of my head. I'm sorry. We're going to go inside. So here's my matches, my tier 1 igniter, my incense tier 1 smudge stick, and we're going to go back inside and go check out this ghost. So the way that this works is essentially, for me at least, on keyboard and mouse, in order to light this up, and to make it actually cleanse the ghost, because that's one of my objectives, right? I think this is the ghost room. I know this is the ghost room. So I'm going to go ahead, knowing that my igniter is in my inventory and my smudge is in my main hand, I'm going to hit the right click button. And that's going to automatically light it up. You don't have to go ahead and grab your igniter to go ahead and light it up. It automatically lights it for you if you have both things in your inventory. If you don't have the lighter in your inventory and you try to right click, it's not going to light it at all, and you're going to be in a bad situation. So remember how I said you can go ahead and take photos of salt to go ahead and fill your journal? That's guaranteed here. So we're going to take one of that one, one of that one. It's going to go inside my journal as disturbed salt for each one of them. Make sure that you're getting the full salt in the photo, or it may give you a 2-star photo. You have to be right in the center of it. If you're looking to get yourself a perfect game, you have to get all of your objectives completed, all 3-star photos, and you have to get the bone. You do not have to take a photo of the bone necessarily, but if you have a free photo slot, why not take a photo of the bone? Bone has been acquired. So there you go. We got bone. It has been collected. Let's go ahead and bring ourselves on in a candle, tier 1 candle here. Remember, we still got the matches inside of our inventory here. And check this out right here if you haven't seen this yet. You can go ahead and grab 3 things plus an igniter. So I got matches in my inventory right now. Matches are in my inventory. I'm going to grab a candle. I'm going to go ahead and grab myself another salt container. And I'm going to go ahead and grab myself a sound sensor. So I'm carrying sound sensor, salt, candle, and lighter at the same time. The reason for that is any tier of igniter does not occupy one of your inventory slots. So why not hold an igniter at all times? That way you don't forget it. I like to take it right at the beginning of the round, because if I don't take it at the beginning of the round, I might forget to do so later on. Another way you can go ahead and get some interaction photos is go ahead and light up a candle inside the ghost room and see if it blows it out. If it blows it out, you can take a photo of it for another interaction. It will drop the sound sensor down as well. When we go back to the van, I'm going to show you what the sound sensor does. So right now, this is the sound sensor monitor inside of the van. You can see here right on the map, that yellow circle there inside the boys' bedroom is our sound sensor. You have an opportunity to hit this expansion button to increase the size that the sound sensor is able to hear sounds inside the location. You can go ahead and do it twice with the tier 1. So I'd prefer to keep it small. That way I'm only hearing sounds inside of that area, and I'm not hearing sounds throughout half of the house. But one of the things I will definitely note is that it picks up pretty much all sounds inside the house. It's not going to pick up player voices. It's going to pick up sounds inside the location that are natural to the game. So right now I can hear the audio coming through, and you're hearing the fan going off in the room right now, which is actually happening in live time. We can see here that the light's on, the fan is spinning. That's what we're hearing coming through the sound sensor. There's not a whole lot of good use cases for the sound sensor, but it's a good way to try to determine maybe where the ghost is presently and what it's actively doing, to try to give you an idea if you're inside the van and not inside the location. Now, this is probably a good time of the round to go ahead and try to find your cursed possession. You could have done it already if you wanted to, but if you haven't, this would be the time to do it. So we know we have music box here. It's right here on the front left table when you enter. So we can actually get a photo of this. We can get a photo of this to go inside of our journal here. Music box there. And we could try to potentially get a ghost photo with the music box as well. If you haven't checked out my last video on cursed possessions and how they work, make sure you go check it out for that as well. So what I want to do here is I want to stand far enough from the ghost room. That way when I go ahead and I cue this music box, it's going to go ahead and force the ghost to sing and walk towards it. Then I can bring the music box towards the ghost and I can drop it on the floor like so. Don't throw it. If you throw it, it's going to cause an immediate cursed hunt. But if you place it, it's going to allow the tune to continue on uninterrupted. And that's going to go ahead and maybe potentially cause the ghost to manifest, cause a ghost event, and allow you to get a photo. Now remember, one of the biggest issues here is that this is a roaming ghost. It's a banshee. The moment I click on this box, it could be on top of me and I would get unalived immediately. So one thing I'm going to do to ensure that this banshee doesn't spawn on top of me when I hit this music box is I'm going to keep the safety net here of the motion sensor. I'm going to hit it, and as long as it doesn't trigger off that motion sensor, I know it's not here with me. So here we go. Let's go towards it. There it is. Photos taken. And that fulfilled my objective right there. Now, since we have the igniter and we have a smudge inside of our inventory right now, we can go ahead and cleanse the ghost or repel it. And if you're trying to go ahead and get your escape objective, this is the time to do it as well. Ghost is down here. It's coming. Go ahead, right click. It has been repelled for 5 seconds. It's best practice to try to break line of sight as many times to the ghost as possible. The longer you let it see you, the more likely it is you're not going to survive the hunt. I like to go ahead and use the car or something like this to go ahead and block my way. That way it can't see me actively, and I can just go ahead and go around and around without the ghost actually gaining any line of sight speed on me. I can hear which direction it's coming from and just automatically go the opposite way. It'll never actually catch up to me. Boom. End a hunt, and we have full objectives completed. One thing I want to be able to note about the candle here is that it is a non-electronic piece of equipment, obviously. So that means that if you have a lit flame in your hand during a hunt, it will not be sensed by the ghost. The ghost will have no idea where you are if you just have a candle on in your hand. You can hold a candle, you can hold a lighter, you can do any of that stuff. The ghost will have no idea how to track it. By the way, if you have a lit candle by you, it'll also help you preserve a little bit of sanity, and your sanity won't drain nearly as fast as it was if you didn't have a lit candle by you. One thing to note about the photos that you take inside the game is that some photos yield more money and more XP than other photos do. For a baseline, most interactions and most photos will only give you $5 and 5 XP per photo. But the bone, the dirty water, and the burnt crucifix photos will give you $10 and 10 XP. And the 3-star ghost photo will give you $20 and 20 XP. So if you could try to prioritize those photos over others, you may end up coming out of the round with more money and more XP overall. In order to finalize the game at this point and get your perfect investigation bonus of more money and more XP, is to go ahead and get 3 more photos here. We have all 3-star photos. We just need 3 more to go ahead and get us that perfect game bonus. Let's go back inside, get 3 photos, and get out of here. And if you go ahead and illuminate that UV evidence there for a few, you can go ahead and get a photo of UV as well. Fingerprints photo. If you ever go ahead and take a photo and it has no stars on it whatsoever, you can go ahead and click this deletion button. It'll go ahead and start a poll in your group to delete it. Everybody has to go ahead and confirm the deletion of the photo in order for it to work. You could do that twice. Ghosts blow out the candle, take a photo, interaction, let's get out of here. Save the teddy bear, bring him back to the van. Boom. Let's go ahead and get out of here. Lock in your ghost. Make sure you don't forget to circle it. And here we go. Let's go get some rewards. There you go. We got $1,425 there. Perfect investigation bonus, which means we got all of our photos, all of our objectives, our bone, and our ghost correct. Gave us an additional $230 and 230 XP. So honestly, it's a significant amount of money if you go for the perfect games. And then obviously we got the photo from everything else. We got a daily done, so that gave us an additional $100. Pretty good game. When you're looking at all the tiers of equipment like this, it does seem very overwhelming. I have to imagine as a new player to look at it all and say, what does all this stuff do? But hopefully after watching this video, you feel a little bit more comfortable about what each piece of equipment does, how it fits into gameplay, and how it can help you get more money and more XP while hunting for those ghosts. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time, my friends, stay crispy.